Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving into a really special explainer about a timeless Japanese sanctuary. We're looking at how its incredibly deep-rooted history might just be the absolute perfect cure for our completely rushed modern lives. We're pulling directly from some fascinating source material that chronicles the heritage of this tucked-away spot in Japan's Nagano Prefecture. Our source opens with this really beautiful piece of philosophy. There are journeys for scenery and journeys for stories. I want you to just sit with that for a second. In our modern world, tourism kind of feels like an exhausting checklist, right? We're constantly rushing from one famous landmark to the next, battling crowds literally just to snap a photo, and then moving on. But our journey today, it's all about the stories. We're going to intentionally slow down and completely immerse ourselves in a place where history isn't just observed, it's deeply felt. So, that brings us to our core question. Why does a quiet 1,400-year-old hot spring hold the ultimate cure from modern burnout? Just picture this. You're walking down a quiet cobblestone street early in the morning. You can smell that faint, earthy scent of sulfur hanging in the crisp mountain air, and you hear the deep, resonant ring of ancient temple bells just echoing through the misty valley. Well, that's Bessho Onsen. Located in Ueda City, it's celebrated as the absolute oldest hot spring in the Shinshu region. And the best part? Unlike so many tourist destinations today, there are no high-rise hotels or flashy entertainment anywhere in sight.
Okay, let's get into Section 1, Myths of the Ancient Bath, a 1,400-year lineage.
Because exact records from 1,400 years ago are, well, pretty scarce, we have to trace this town's origins through a really fascinating blend of history and legend. It all kicks off in the Asuka period. Legend has it that the great hero Prince Yamato Tekryu actually discovered these hidden waters and used them to heal his severe battle wounds. Then, fast forward to the Nara period, the highly revered monk Yoki is said to have visited, blessed the waters, and essentially laid the town's profound spiritual foundation. And what the source material makes incredibly clear here is that, from day one, the thermal water of Bessho Onsen was never viewed as just a quick bath. No way. It was revered as a sacred, earthy gift. The act of soaking in the warm water to heal your physical body and praying at the local temple to soothe your mind, those two things became completely intertwined. They were really just two halves of the exact same restorative process. Moving right along to Section 2, the north-facing kanon, an unconventional faith. Now, this brings us to a huge architectural mystery right at the center of the town. Traditional ancient temple architecture pretty much dictates that structures should always face south, to welcome the warm sunlight and guide worshippers. But Bessho Onsen's iconic temple, the Kitamutsuki Kanon, deliberately breaks all the rules. The name literally translates to the north-facing kanon. So, why on earth would they build it facing the wrong way? Well, the answer lies in a culturally specific concept known as kaida mairi. This translates to a one-sided pilgrimage, or basically an incomplete spiritual journey. To really wrap your head around the north-facing temple in Bessho Onsen, you actually have to look at another wildly famous temple located a good distance away in Nagano City. It's called Zenkoji. So, here's how they connect. Zenkoji faces south, and it's a sacred place where people go to pray for a peaceful afterlife. On the flip side, Kitamuki Kanon in Bessho Onsen faces north, directly opposing it. Why? To secure happiness, health, and relief in your present earthly life. For centuries, pilgrims fiercely believed that if you only visited one of these temples, it resulted in katamairi, basically leaving your soul completely and dangerously unbalanced. You absolutely had to visit Bessho Onsen to secure your earthly wishes, making it this deeply spiritual, vital destination for true harmony. It's like a giant spiritual puzzle. All right, Section 3, a rare octagonal pagoda, the architecture of slow time. I want you to think about the number 8. Deep in the woods of Bessho Onsen sits the breathtaking Onrakaji Pagoda. It's an 8-sided, 3-story wooden pagoda, and get this, it is the only one of its kind in all of Japan. It's so rare and so beautifully distinct from literally anything else that it's rightfully been designated as a national treasure. It was built way back in the Kamakura period and served as a major center for Zen Buddhism teachings. But what is truly mind-blowing about this structure is the masterful craftsmanship. It was constructed using intricate wooden joints with virtually no nails. Let that sink in for a second. A towering, multi-story structure surviving centuries of harsh winds and heavy snow without nails. And yet, despite its size, it totally lacks any sense of intimidation. Instead, it just perfectly and softly melts into the surrounding mountain landscape, almost as if it naturally grew right out of the earth. And the true beauty of Bessho Onsen is that these historical treasures, they aren't roped off, isolated monuments kept behind glass. Take the nearby Jorkaji Temple, for example. With its beautiful thatched roof and moss-covered stone steps, the source notes that in this town, the resonant sound of the temple bell, the cheerful voices of local kids playing, and the rising steam of the baths, they all exist comfortably in the exact same space. The temples are quietly and seamlessly woven into the everyday lives of the locals. They're warm, familiar neighbors, not just distant tourist attractions. Which brings us to Section 4, Surviving the Samurai Era. Community resilience. During the Middle Ages and the Sengoku era, the Shinano region transformed into a massive, frankly bloody battleground. Various warlords fiercely fought over this very turf. It was initially ruled by the Bessho clan, which is who the town is named after, by the way, and later became deeply entangled in the vicious wars of the legendary Sanada clan. We're talking about famous, battle-hardened samurai warlords like Sanada Masayuki and Yukimura. The entire region was just rapidly consumed by these intense, violent, and relentless turf wars. So, the absolutely crucial question here is, how on earth did a peaceful hot spring survive an era of such relentless samurai warfare? Well, the warlords rose and fell, and sure, their dramatic exploits are all recorded in the history books. But the town itself? It survived because of the nameless ordinary people, the locals who faithfully swept the temple grounds, tended the quiet fields, and kept those hot springs boiling year after year, decade after decade. It was their quiet, unyielding community resilience that fiercely protected the town so we can still experience it today. And our final section, Section 5, Antidote to Modern Speed, the Luxury of Slow Travel. Think about our daily lives for a minute. We are constantly surrounded by high-speed trains, nonstop smartphone notifications, and this relentless pressure to optimize every single second of our day. Even our vacations often devolve into high-speed checklists. Bessho Onsen is the exact perfect opposite of that. It practically demands slow walks on ancient stone paths, taking deep breaths of fresh mountain air, and sitting still in completely unchanged landscapes. The source makes a really brilliant point here. Bessho Onsen's lack of flashy, high-end commercial entertainment, that's not a flaw. That very absence is its absolute greatest luxury. The true richness here is found in absolute simplicity. It's feeling those soft, alkaline waters literally erase the physical fatigue right out of your bones after a long journey. It's sitting quietly and watching the ancient landscape change through 4 beautifully distinct seasons. It's that casual, warm hello exchange with a local in a shared public bath. It's about prioritizing genuine human connection and deep mindfulness over artificial commercial luxury amenities. This quote beautifully summarizes the core philosophy of everything we've explored in this explainer today. History isn't just in books, it breathes in the cobblestones and the steam. When you walk through Bessho Onsen, you are literally stepping directly into a quiet, persistent flow of time, one that has been healing and comforting people for 14 consecutive centuries. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to reflect on. Is true travel really about constantly looking outward at new, exciting scenery just to check off a list? Or is it about facing inward, much like the north-facing cannon, in a place where time practically stands still? Thank you so much for taking this journey with me today. Keep seeking out those story-driven journeys, and I'll see you next time.